Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We are about to begin the function. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. To build up this excitement, can we have the video, please? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to all our esteemed customers, valued partners, and all our well wishers. I hope everyone has settled down comfortably. We are good to go? Yeah. We all are indeed very proud that we all are in Punya Nagri. It is our own Vidyecha Maherghar, Pune. To take you through a power-packed and an engaging event this evening, we have someone who has cherished a special place in his heart for Pune, who is very much familiar with the soil and air of Pune. Isn't this really exciting? To welcome our special guest, may I call upon Mr. Shrikant Patki, who heads the Schneider Electric Pune operations. Over to you, Shrikant sir.
ऐकू येतंय का? Hello, good evening. So my name is Shrikant. I am your host today. म्हणजे पुण्याच्या भाषेमध्ये यजमान. Every time we get an opportunity to introduce people and we talk so many things, today is a very special day. मला opportunity मिळाली की मी कोणाची तरी अशी इंट्रोडक्शन करून देऊ शकतो की जे पक्के पुणेरी आहेत, बॉर्न अँड बॉटअप इन पुणे. आपल्यापेक्षा आपल्यासारख्या सगळ्यांसारखे कॉलेज ऑफ इंजिनिअरिंग पुण्यामध्ये शिकलेत, अराउंड 20-25 years plus of experience. Heads as a EVP Power Product Division for Schneider Electric globally, based out of US. Very well connected with Pune आणि पक्के पुणेकर. त्यांनी आल्या सांगितलं श्रीकांत फार गरम होत आहे, अँड देन आय एम रिलॅक्स. आय एम सेड when I came to know that he is coming to Pune, I requested him that I really want to make his presence in Pune to connect with you all. And it's my great pleasure to welcome Mr. Rohan Kelkar. Good evening. Give a big round of applause. Rohan here. We also have Mr. Nikhil Pathak along with us, Vice President, Marketing and Business Development. Thank you so much, Nikhil and Rohan, for gracing this event and really appreciate. Thank you so much. Over to you.
आवाज. No, it's on.
Hello? Good? All right, excellent. नमस्कार. माझं नाव रोहन केळकर. मी म्हटलं तसं माहेरचा पुणेरी आणि सासरचा अमेरिकन. सो थँक्यू व्हेरी मच. मी आता मराठी नीट बोलतो, पण बरेच वर्षात बोलायची सवय गेली, त्यामुळे आय विल डू दिस प्रेझेंटेशन. व्हेरी प्लीज टू बी हिअर. पर्सनल reason, which is I am like I said, I went to COEP. I grew up on Curve Road, and I lived in Pune. So I think now it is the middle of the year. So it's my great pleasure to be here. As I was thinking about this presentation, and we'll go through it, I'll walk you through the Schneider story. What I wanted to do was spend a little time and really think about where we are today. And I would implore you guys to say that we are in the middle of a revolution. Now what people will say is, you know, we have to come up here and say, oh, we are in the middle of a revolution. That's not true. As I thought about this, we are in the middle of, we are witnessing one part of a revolution. All the way to generation, to distribution, to consumption. Now, you may ask, why do we say this is a revolution? We think if you look at any revolution that happened in the world, one is technology. Not working? Okay. Okay, what's working? I'm going to try and hold it steady. What has changed with technology in the last 5 to 10 years is, number one, the advance of solar, and you all know that. Storage is becoming increasingly economical. Data, so huge amounts of data. By the way, I was just looking at some statistics that said in 2010, globally, the entire amount of consumption and storage of data was 2 zettabytes. It's, I guess, some gazillion bytes. In 2025, it'll be 200 zettabytes. So 200x or 100x increase. By the way, all this data needs electricity. I was just talking with a few, folks, OEMs, industry leaders in Pune earlier just now, and they were mentioning about the energy transition, and they were talking about how the big themes that we expect to see here in India, in the country, is transition, change in the transportation system, so whether it's rail, whether it's road, EVs, all of that. What does that take? Electricity. If you look at all the data centers around the world, and I just talked about the zettabytes of data that we have, all those data center guys are building, edge data centers, colos, all of that here. What does that take? Electricity. So we are in the middle of, number one, technology. Number two, a massive demand, right? So there needs to be a sense of urgency. No matter what we talk about, people think, oh, we do a lot of coal generation. India, of course, is a big source of coal generation. From Schneider's perspective, this is not a question of one or the other in terms of generation. It's a question of both. Because when we look at the massive, massive demand that is in front of us, especially here in India as a country, but globally, it is critical that you have all these sources. And oh, by the way, what we are going to enter is a world of DERs, right? Which is distributed energy resources. And it's going to happen everywhere. It'll happen differently in different countries. The third part, which is economics, right? We all want to do good. We want to do good for the environment, for the next few generations. But in the end, it has to be economically viable. And with the change in technology and with the demand that we have, the economics are starting to make sense. However, the economics are local. The economics are not something you can sit in the US or sit wherever you are in Europe and come up with the mechanism. It works locally. Now, we like to think that Schneider is uniquely positioned, and I will walk you through my reasoning on why we think that Schneider is going to be in a good spot in this energy transition, but also why we need you, all of you, as our partners, end users, customers, distributors, system integrators to be part of this revolution with us and help us along this journey. Okay? So first, let's talk about the big picture in terms of decarbonization. We just had COP27. I won't go through the details here, but in a nutshell, this is, especially in this part of the world, this is no longer a debate in terms of global warming. I was just thinking about an example that makes sense here. 30 years ago, I used to go on Hanuman Tekadi over here. You could pretty much see all of Pune, right? Today, I think we'll be lucky if we can see Pasha. So I think everybody here gets the point that it is warmer and we need to do something. There is enough scientific evidence that says just a 3.5 degree, which is the trajectory that we are on globally, compared to a 1.5 degree, can make a significant change in what we see and what our lives will experience over the next 15 to 20 years. So the bottom line from our perspective is it's not an option. We don't have 30 years, we have 10, and we don't need to cut by 10 gigatons, we need to cut by 40, so 4x. Okay? So the good news is we think we know how to do it, okay? Which you might say, what are you talking about? I think if you just look at the last 5 years and you look at the momentum in this space, we think there is a way we can get there. You look at the chart, the biggest part, of course, is decarbonize the energy supply. Now, again, I go back to this is not a question of eliminate all coal, especially in a country like India. It's a question of you're going to have to double to triple the energy supply that's going to be required for all this work that we talked about. Let's not build that through coal. Okay, so it's one plus the other, and by country there are different ways and different sources. We just had a good conversation on biofuels and ethanol and all of that. Second is accelerate electrification. So, and by the way, it's not like we do it because we are Schneider Electric, because everything I just talked about requires electricity, and we do believe that is the best vector for decarbonization. And the third is to boost efficiency, circularity. Circularity is an interesting concept. Should not be new to the folks here in India, to the folks in Pune, because it's almost like growing up. I was taught you never throw anything away, right? Almost to the point that we really should start throwing some stuff away. But we need to do that from an industry perspective, and we need to do that more efficiently when it comes to electrical distribution. So from our perspective, we call it Electricity 4.0. And what is Electricity 4.0? There are really three components. It's digital. Digital means more IoT. It helps us drive efficiency. Electric, which, as I discussed, when things are electric, they can be measured. You can measure the source of electricity. It makes energy visible. And you can then drive the efficiency. Between the two of these things, we can drive sustainability. So I won't read through the mission here, but Schneider, thanks to our chairman, Mr. Trikwa, we've been on this journey for 15, 20 years. We have made several investments, whether it's in products, solutions, and I will walk you through what those are pretty quickly. And then Nikhil will walk you through some of the architectures and the products that we have that really emphasize the point. So if you look at us from a company perspective, we are a little bit shy of 30 billion euros in terms of revenue. Energy management, of which I am part of that business, and industrial automation. These are the two big businesses. Sustainability, electrification, and driving efficiency is the overall mandate of the company. Good news is globally we are pretty balanced. So I have the opportunity before I came to Schneider to work for at least two of our competitors, which tend to be heavily balanced either in one part of the geography. We, as you can see, are pretty generally evenly balanced between North America, Western Europe, Asia, APAC, and certainly now India with some of the recent acquisitions that we've done. Also end markets, again, pretty well balanced in terms of data centers, buildings, industry, and infrastructure. There is something a little bit unique about our operating model compared to the rest of our competitors. And that ties into the DNA, and that's the reason why I'm standing here in front of all of you, is we believe that in the partner ecosystem. And what we mean by that is, I work for, like I said, some of our competitors. We believe that going through a channel, whether it's distribution, system integrators, panel builders, you talk about it, was creating inefficiency between us as the OEM and the end user. At Schneider, we believe that if you have the right operating model, which we believe we do, it actually adds value by leveraging the ecosystem. So we are the biggest OEM that has the largest ecosystem across the globe, and we are very proud of it. We do not look at that as a disadvantage. And in fact, that's why I'm here to talk to you guys, because we need your help as we go through the sustainability journey. The next thing is multi-hub. Multi-hub means, and by the way, they have some unique go-to-market challenges. My responsibility, together with marketing, R&D, all of that, was to find solutions that made sense for North America. Similarly, we have a team in Europe. Now I'm responsible for the global business. I'm proud to say, with the acquisition of our E&A business with L&T and that partnership, we used to have 3 hubs. So we had our China hub, we had our Europe hub, and then we had our North America hub. We now have our India, right? So we have scale where we can build solutions that are India for India or international for developing markets. So when you think about 2025, and by the way, this is an important chart, okay? This is not just a bunch of numbers. This shows that I'm not just here to talk, we are also here to walk the talk, right? So what is our challenge for 2025? Over 50 million people impacted, over 1 million people trained in energy management, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. 800 megatons of carbon dioxide savings, carbon neutral in our operations, which, by the way, we've launched a net zero project with over 1,000, our top 1,000 suppliers, of which I believe 40 are based out of India. And our goal there, by the way, it's not just to reduce our operations, right? It's also to decarbonize our suppliers and their supply operations. We are helping them with that. So we are going along on that journey. Divide our emissions of our suppliers by half. I talked about that, and 80% green revenue. So it's not easy. We just had a session with some of our folks over here, and our commitment, by the way, to 2030 is to reduce our scope 3 emissions, which is the inefficiencies in the operation of our products, right? So consumption of electricity in a busway that we build, things like that, by 20%. Okay, we're not really sure how we're going to do that, but our commitment is that we will invest in our products, we will invest in our ecosystem, we will come up with ways to do buybacks across our ecosystem, and we will find a way to reduce our scope 3 emissions by 20%. So again, it's not just say that because all our investors love it and put it in our annual report. It's because we believe in it, and we will invest to make that. Let's talk about EcoStructure a little bit. Hopefully, this is not something that you're hearing for the first time. EcoStructure is our architecture, our framework on how we develop our. It's really a 3-tier technology stack. By the way, it looks nice on the chart, but it's really customized for the application. So whether you're in a building, you're in a data center, you are a machine OEM, or you're a utility or a grid operator, we have a technology stack that goes all the way from edge, even before that, to connected products to advisors in the cloud. This drives the efficiency and the simplification of the business as you think about your own operation and the efficiency. It gives you the visibility that I talked about. The second part is the software portfolio. So when you think about the construction life cycle, for example, I'm quite familiar with the American construction model. I'm sure it's the same over here. Is you have consulting firms that come up with the first plans, and they give it to a contractor who then looks at it and redoes the plans. Then you go to the electrical contractor who redoes the plans, and you find out, oh, it didn't fit in the building. Go rinse and repeat. So that entire cycle, it's not just hardware, but it's also a waste of energy in terms of the delay in cycle. So we look at it through acquisitions and partnerships that we have. You may be familiar with a lot of these. So for the industry and the infrastructure business, we of course have Aviva, which now is public. We are hoping will be entirely a part of our business here pretty soon. RIB, which is a platform for construction management. We have ETAP, which, by the way, just as a side note, Mr. Tanuj Khandelwal, who is the CEO of ETAP, is a ex-Bharati Vidyapeeth graduate. So any of you guys over there. So we are working actively with him around trying to figure out a way from a software perspective to make load studies and things like that a lot more efficient. One of our efforts that is ongoing now is to create a green architecture, which means just like for the folks that are doing the load studies and all that, is you look at electrical efficiency. Can we come up with an architecture, a reference architecture, that you can say, is this the most carbon efficient way for your local economy to be able to do it? We are working with ETAP to go build that, and so on and so forth. So I won't go through that, but again, the journey, which we're not there yet, but we're on our way, is how do you create a seamless experience if you decide to use some portions of that or all of this entire stack, especially if you're an end user, and we hope you do. So lastly, I will end with this, which is, okay, I talked about all the global stuff. What does it mean in India? Okay, so when I think about Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is a big initiative that the government has, 9 million, you see there's 9 million people impacted, 20 plus million homes, with our backup solutions. Top 10 oil refineries. So obviously one of the benefits that we have at Schneider is we can operate at scale. You can look at the biggest data centers, data center companies, biggest refineries. We have two smart factories here, both in Hyderabad and in Bangalore, and we are on our way to do more. So from our perspective, the commitment to India is not only there from a market perspective, but also as the fourth hub, you can expect to see a lot more in terms of investment in India for India. One last thing that I will leave, and a lot of people have asked this question, okay, so you talked about sustainability, I am a small business, small medium enterprise, as we call it here. What do you want me to do? How do I start? So we are in the process of building a sustainability training program, which we will launch in first quarter, that we will make available for our partners specifically. So if you happen to be in one of those categories where you are really interested in starting and you want to go do some of this, but you don't know where to start, we are working on that program and we hope to partner with you as we go down this journey. I leave you with one message, and that is, we haven't got this all figured out, right? I stood here, I showed you the charts. We are committed to making the world a lot more sustainable. We need your help because it only happens if the entire ecosystem does it and not just Schneider. Our customers are demanding that, but we are also demanding that of each other, and I think it is the right thing to do. By the way, we think that is also economically viable. But the last thing is, if you feel that you need to know every single detail before you get started, I would submit to you that if you wait that long, it will be too late, because the energy transition, especially as I talk to a lot of our clients here, is real and happening right now, and you want to be part of it or you will be disrupted. Okay, thank you, and I turn it over to Nikhil.
Thank you, Rohan. Okay, I think it's technical glitch. So I'll get going. So Rohan, thank you, and a huge thank you to all of you. We know that you're busy, every one of you, and then you have a business to manage. But we are hugely privileged to have all of you over here. Thank you for your partnership. Thank you for the business. But really, I see this hall completely full, and that just gives us even more encouragement to talk about the biggest agenda for the world, which common problem for the world which every one of us face, irrespective of political divide, geographical divide, and the single biggest challenge for us is sustainability challenge. And that's what we have seen on COP27. So we are definitely looking forward for every possible way that how we can make this world more sustainable, how together we can accelerate our journey for a sustainable future. And that's a responsibility every individual in this world has, right? And Rohan just set the stage, and I'm going to be talking a little bit on what we can do, what we are doing at Schneider Electric to be really, really taking the lead, of course, with help of all our customers, all our partners, and really create an impact. So we are leading by example. Schneider Electric was rated as the world's most sustainable corporation last year by Corporate Knights. And one of the slides Rohan mentioned about what impact we want to create in 2025, right? And we are not only looking at our own facility, but we're doing outreach to our supplier, top 1,000 supplier, and really working with them to reduce the carbon footprint and so on and so forth. So that's top of our agenda. We want to be part of the solution and just not do something at our look at the way we are living our life today. It's being driven by innovation, electric and digital. Today, the way we work digitally, the way we live, all of us are looking forward for a lifestyle which is really good for us, and especially we are concerned about our well-being. The way we sit at home and still do shopping on e-commerce, right? And the way we are moving from point A to point B, and we are talking about e-mobility. It's about digitization. Digitization and the digital has captured our day-to-day life, number one and most important. But imagine that today we can't really be away from the data, because morning we got up, we look at our mobile phone, we exchange good morning, a message, and that message is the data, and it gets processed somewhere in a data center. And data center today are the most power-hungry infrastructure in the world. Rohan talked about 2 zettabyte exponentially growing. Because data center consumes so much of power, obviously we are looking at that, how can we make, let's say example, data center more efficient. So while we are progressing so much, we also have to be worried about how can we also bridge the divide, progress and sustainability. Also, all this latest technology which we are using it, we have seen that they are being built on little bit dated technology of 20th century. The way we produce power in a power station, heavily consuming fossil fuel, creating pollution, and also the way the power is getting distributed by old technologies. And that's where exactly we are seeing that what more we can do to really improve the situation. So we are looking at a power value chain, and then looking from a generation to distribution to using it smartly in offices, in factory, in our home. That's the focus area for us, that what can we do to make the generation more efficient, distribution more efficient, and obviously the usage. How can we measure it with smart metering? How can we really focus on removing the inefficiencies? By the way, the point at where we produce power and by the time you use it, we have approximately 40% of power which is being wasted, either in distribution, either in usage. And that tells us that yes, obviously, we need to be focusing on efficiency. But the first one is obviously about how can we make an effective power. Renewable is one way. So technology exists today. The technology exists today for electrifying our usage and moving from diesel and petrol powered vehicle to electrical vehicle. Now, is that the only way which we can do? No, there are more ways of doing it, but yes, electrical vehicle for sure is going to be one way leading us and accelerating this. Talking about the electric vehicle, again, going to electricity, which is the more or rather better option, which is more cleaner for decarbonization. That's the best vector for decarbonization. The electricity, obviously, when we look at other form of energy, is more efficient. But yes, that electrifying our usage is one step forward. The second one is the energy. which we can produce without emission. And that talks about renewable. We are estimating that today 6% of the global energy is through renewable. By 2040, 40% of energy will be renewable. And by the way, India is doing a commendable job. As all of us know, we are really taking the lead for renewable energy with the installed capacity of solar, and it's just going there. So we are really trying to address. But then it also puts us into a question when we are looking at different source of energy, and we call it DERs, different energy resource, that in an infrastructure, you have a power coming from utility, you have a power coming from renewable and multiple sources. How are you going to switch instantaneously by using this energy and obviously optimizing the power bill? And that's where, again, we are talking about digitization. Without digitization, it is impossible to kind of really managing different energy resources. The next one is to digitize. The next one is to digitize electrical distribution, which obviously is more efficient, and digital make energy smart. And how we can make it smart? Because it provides us a visibility. Remember that we can measure perfectly, and that's the first step. Okay? If we measure it well, we can monitor it well. Or let me put it that way, you can only monitor what you measure it, and you can only control what you monitor. So while we are talking about controlling energy for the effective usage, digitization is not an option. And that's one way which is helping us to move forward. Not only looking at all the stuff which I talked about, but also in product. How can we create green product? How can we create more sustainable product? And here we are talking about the medium voltage equipment, which comes with SF6 gas. Obviously, it's not good for the environment. It's completely not safe. So we believe the best gas is no gas in an equipment. And so we have an equipment which is already using clean air, pure air, without SF6, right? And that's one more step for the green product. And we can get in touch with you to tell you more on this. And by the way, using pure air does not increase the footprint of the equipment. It is the same footprint, same size, but it is just that it's more sustainable. And we can go on and talking about more distributed source of energy, renewable, and microgrids also help us to reach to the point of consumption much better than the centralized. So we are talking about decentralized energy. That's the future, right? We are talking about monitoring energy, controlling the losses, and so on and so forth. But essentially, we are talking about making a green product more available, providing access to energy to everyone, and then more efficient and digital green. So while we talk about all this, we look at what is the future of home, what is the future of an industry, what is the future of data center, and likewise. And we are talking about more resilient, super efficient, hyper efficient, using more distributed source of energy, and then obviously sustainable. So that's the future, and that's the direction in which we need to go. So at Schneider Electric, electric and digital is at our core of our innovation. And there are three pillars, right? One is what we call innovation at our core. The second one is digital and software defined, because just making it digital does not help. It has to be software for a better actionable insight that we get. We really need it to be software driven, because more analytics, and that provides us huge data. And then most importantly, it's not just install and forget. We work with our partner ecosystem, which is super important for us, and it is from end-to-end lifecycle management. So these are the three pillars at which we work at Schneider Electric. And in the previous talk, what Rohan has given, you talked about ETAP and RIB, but this is something what we call endpoint to the cloud, We just don't collect the data, make a meaningful use of the data, for starting from a digital twin of a building or digitizing your complete electrical network, which is so important. We have a software today. So it is design, install, operate, and maintain. And that's the full suite that we can provide you today. And all the software which is mentioned over here are brand agnostic, not necessarily that it has to ride on Schneider Electric equipment or our own equipment. It's completely brand agnostic, and so we are making it available to everyone. So with this, we have a complete solution, and also we alone cannot deliver it. The reach to larger customer base is through our partners, and the partners are all trained, and most of you are working with one or the other partner, but that's where also a full ecosystem that which is more efficient and is working to help the customer. So with this, what are we doing? And we are very proud of the statistics. What you see here, more than 1 million buildings that were presence, um, utilities in the world that we work with, 40% of hotel, 50% of the world data center, we are running on Schneider Electric solution. And I'm not going to go through this, but you can see it that right from home to the industry and contributing to what we call Industry 4.0 with all our solution, but at the same time, looking at our infrastructure, whether it's a home, building, or office, everywhere we are here to help. And when we do all this, a 1 million building, all of you are part of that 1 million building or an industry, because we have worked with you. So again, as I discussion, a huge thank you for your business partnership. A huge thank you for providing us an opportunity, establishing trust in Schneider Electric, and then we continue to look forward with our business partnership. The most important thing is the sustainability agenda has to be driven together. We need to work together. I'm sure you realize that this challenge of sustainability is a global challenge, and we need to make our infrastructure more efficient and contribute in whichever way we can to drive the sustainability agenda. With that, thank you so much once again for coming over here. The evening is even more exciting with some workshop and obviously for dinner, but thank you again for being over here. Now with that, as we talk so much about a digital Industry 4.0, I'm going to be talking about one product which we are launching today here in Pune, and that's about our new range of soft starter, which is ATS480. Do we have AV? launching. That's ATS 480. Um, we talk about innovation, we talk about digitization, and the product, in fact, is being kept as a part of an architecture. But this is something which is so important. As mentioned, innovation is our core, and here's an offer which is definitely going to be helping for digital transformation, looking at many applications. Again, thank you for being here. And now I want Utkarsh to come on stage. We talk about our partner ecosystem, and it's a very important message for joining this fight against sustainability. Utkarsh.
Hello, hello. Okay. Can you hear me well? Yes. Okay. Good. So, good evening, everyone. Firstly, a big thank you to all of you all to take out time and join us this evening. So, Rohan and Nikhil talked about sustainability, the fact that sustainability is, in fact, imperative. It's no longer a choice. And also, Nikhil talked about what Schneider Electric is doing on the sustainability journey. But what we realize is that we are actually part of a much larger ecosystem. And until that ecosystem collectively moves forward on this sustainability journey, we will not be able to deliver a sustainable future for our coming generations. And that is the seed of thought with which we came up with what we call as Green Yodha. What we're saying is essentially that a small incremental step taken consistently in the right direction by a group of like-minded individuals or businesses is the only way that we can deliver a sustainable future. That, in a sense, is what Green Yodha is all about. So this is what, it's not a math equation. What we're essentially saying is what I just spoke out, right? Look at this. A small incremental step taken consistently in the right direction by a group of like-minded individuals will lead to a massive impact when it comes to sustainability and lead to a green future. That, in a sense, is what Green Yodha is all about. Let's have a look at the AV for more details. So, what is Green Yodha? It's a sustainability movement of Schneider Electric, which brings together, like I said, like-minded citizens and businesses to make the planet more sustainable. It has obviously the endorsement of some of the leading policymakers, and it's an award-winning initiative already 1 year into existence. So who can be a Green Yodha? It can be anyone. It can be, it's our customers, be it our partners, even as individuals, you can contribute to becoming a Green Yodha. Let's take some examples, right? As an end user, are you deploying renewables? Are you using electrical vehicles? As a panel manufacturer, are you reusing your scrap when it comes to fabrication? Are you disposing of waste in a green manner or in a recyclable manner? As a distributor, are you using green packaging? So there are many examples of how this can be applicable to you as a business as well as an individual. But more importantly, what's in it for you? Number one, whether you're an individual or a business, the Green Yodha will enable you to achieve your sustainability goals. Second, most importantly, it will act as a differentiator for you. Today, if you look at any leading company, it has a sustainability charter or a sustainability mandate. Green Yodha will enable you to help become a sustainability thought partner to that organization and will differentiate you from others in the fray. And lastly, it will empower you to make an impact for a greener future. So, Green Yodha, like many other things, is something that India has exported to the world. We have a number of global CEOs who are Indian. We have a few prime ministers who are Indian as well now. And Green Yodha is the latest. So we have Green Yodha thought conceptualized in India is now deployed across multiple countries across the globe. What all has happened? It's been now a year since Green Yodha was launched. There has been a massive campaign that has happened. It gives you an opportunity, as you can see here, to be part of the campaign, to get recognized on multiple media platforms, a lot of recognition. It gives you an opportunity to brand yourself as an organization, as a sustainable organization, which in turn will help you differentiate as well. Since, like I said, it's been a year. In fact, last month we celebrated a 1 year anniversary of Green Yodha. Over the last 1 year, more than 10,000 people have expressed, more than 10,000 inquiries have come for Green Yodha. We already have 200 plus Green Yodha partners across the country. Some of the eminent names are already here, and there are many, many more. So, lastly, I will urge you all, please pick up your smartphones, scan the QR code, and do join the good fight. Come become a Green Yodha. Thank you. With this, I'll invite Pankaj to give the thank you note.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Rohan. Thank you, Nikhil. Thank you, Utkash. My name is Pankaj Patel, and on behalf of entire Schneider Electric team over here, I'll take this opportunity to thank all of you. We have concluded session 1. Now we will be moving on to session 2. But for session 2, we'll have to break into 4 groups. We have mentioned group numbers 1, 2, 3 or 4 on your cards, on right side of your cards. Group 1 will stay over here, whereas group 2, group 3 and group 4 will move on to first floor. Our representatives will help you with doing this. Thank you very much. We will take a break of 10 minutes and we'll have to join back in our respective rooms within 10 minutes. The next session will be only for 30 minutes. So please do join us back as soon as possible. Thanks a lot. Yeah. So on your backhand side or on your back side, you will see the placards written with group numbers. You have to follow that. Group 1 again will stay back over here only. Group 2, group 3 and group 4 will go to first floor. हुआ ज्वाइन? स्लाइड चालू हो गया? अपनी इस पे से ना? May I request everyone to join, please? Please come forward. All done? Okay, good evening and welcome back once again. So, topic you have already seen. Okay, it is all about your interest. When we say machine, it is not only machine, it is every equipment that is connected with electrical product. So you might be manufacturing UPS, you might be manufacturing compressors, there might be cranes, okay, or some of you might be integrating panels. So this group is specifically created for machine builders, system integrators and control panel builders.